We hear grand stories about technology. Men in garages, billionaires launching rockets, tales of disruption and progress. But these stories leave out the people who make tech work in the real world. They leave out the women who use technology to run hospitals, manage schools, and keep offices moving. When we hear about trade wars and export bans on things like GPUs, it sounds distant, something for politicians and CEOs. But what if it's about a nurse whose system keeps crashing, or an office manager whose team can't keep up because their computers are outdated? Suddenly, global tech policy becomes personal. This is the hidden side of the tech economy, the part that doesn't get headlines. We celebrate new inventions, but rarely talk about the chaos when those tools disappear. The global tech system is a vast machine, and many of the people keeping it running are women. When governments change the rules, the shockwaves land on the desks of people already juggling too much. This isn't just a story about technology. It's about who holds our world together and what happens when the tools they rely on are taken away. It's about work, stress, and security. It's about women's work. Imagine if the world's largest flour supplier suddenly stopped exports. Bakeries would close, shelves would empty, prices would soar. That's what happened in tech when China abruptly restricted exports of advanced GPUs in 2025. The rules were complex, the effect immediate: a freeze on a vital digital component. Panic swept through tech industries. Orders were cancelled, production lines stalled. The global supply chain, where parts from dozens of countries come together, suddenly broke down. The flow of technology, once taken for granted, was revealed as fragile. China's official reason was national security, but this was a power move in a global struggle for tech dominance. The era of open trade was ending. Techno-nationalism was rising. Companies scrambled for alternatives, but building new chip factories takes years. The supply was finite, and a major source was gone. The just-in-time global system faced a catastrophic bottleneck. The digital world held its breath. The disruption was only beginning to reach those far from the centers of power. When you hear GPU, you might think of video games. But GPUs have grown up. They're now the engines of artificial intelligence, science, and modern business. Their talent for parallel processing makes them perfect for training AI, running medical imaging, and powering climate research. Hospitals, universities, and even weather forecasts rely on them. The GPU shortage isn't just a tech problem. It's a problem for hospitals, researchers, and schools. When supply is choked, upgrades are delayed, research slows, and essential systems strain. We built our digital world on the assumption that this power would always be available. Now, the absence of GPUs means more than disappointed gamers. It means real-world setbacks in health, science, and education. The GPU is no longer just about graphics. It's the backbone of our digital society. When it's missing, the whole system feels it. That's why this shortage matters to everyone. A supply chain is a promise. Parts made in one country arrive in another, becoming products people need. When China halted GPU exports, it shattered more than one link. It broke a huge section of the chain. Companies couldn't get chips, but the ripples went further. Office upgrades stalled, school tech orders were postponed, and work became harder everywhere. For administrators and teachers, the abstract GPU shortage became a daily struggle with slow, failing systems. The human cost grew: longer hours, more stress, and crisis management for support staff. Roles often held by women. When tech fails, their workload explodes. A decision in Beijing can mean a nurse in London can't access patient records, or a business owner in Nairobi can't buy cloud services. The missing shipment is more than a box. It's a broken promise that makes daily work harder, especially for women. No disruption is isolated. The effects are global and deeply personal. The invisible jobs keeping everything running are the first to feel the strain. Global trade runs on predictability. Companies plan years ahead, counting on stable rules. China's sudden export restrictions shattered that rhythm. creating confusion and chaos. Businesses scrambled to interpret new rules, unsure which GPUs were affected or how to get licenses. Uncertainty froze projects and investments. The CEO can wait, but the mid-level manager, often a woman, faces immense pressure. She must break bad news, explain delays, and manage frustrated teams. The chaos of global policy becomes personal stress and career risk. Systemic shocks cascade downward, hitting those with the least power hardest. The people managing the fallout, project managers, team leaders, assistants, absorb the anxiety and uncertainty. The rule change wasn't just logistical, it was psychological, injecting instability into daily working lives. When systems break, frontline workers feel it first, and in tech-driven fields, those roles are often filled by women. Administrative assistants, nurses, teachers, their jobs depend on smooth-running tech. When servers can't be upgraded, everything slows and their workload grows. The invisible labor of managing tech friction falls on them. Career progression suffers too. Women in data roles may lose access to the tools needed for advancement, while resources are reserved for senior staff, often men. The tech shock reinforces the glass ceiling. In healthcare and education, women bear the brunt of failing systems. When companies cut costs, support roles, disproportionately held by women, are first to go. The shockwave hits the whole economy, but it hits women first and hardest. Existing inequalities in job security, workload, and opportunity are deepened. The tech crisis isn't gender neutral. It amplifies the gaps already there. The GPU export crisis was part of a bigger conflict, the global race for tech supremacy. For decades, globalization meant shared prosperity. Chips designed in California, made in Taiwan, assembled in China. But now, techno-nationalism is rising. Advanced chips are strategic assets, as vital as armies or currencies. Countries are pouring billions into domestic supply chains, using export controls as weapons. The world is splitting into tech haves and have-nots. This new map is unstable. Cooperation is giving way to competition. Predictable trade is being replaced by a tech Cold War, where access can be weaponized overnight. The focus on national security overshadows global challenges that need shared tech progress. The stakes are higher than ever. Our digital future is more fragile and contested. We think of technology as robust, even magical, but the seamless experience hides a fragile reality. The GPU crisis revealed deep cracks in our tech foundation. First, just-in-time delivery. It's efficient, but brittle. One disruption, and the system seizes up. Second, concentration of production. Most advanced chips come from a handful of factories in Taiwan and South Korea, a single point of failure. Third, our lack of awareness. We enjoy tech's benefits without seeing the labor, logistics, and geopolitics behind it. When the system breaks, we're unprepared and confused. We don't see why hospitals can't get new MRI machines or schools can't get computers. Recognizing these cracks is the first step to fixing them. Our tech world isn't magic. It's a human-made structure that needs maintenance and care. We must build resilience, not just efficiency. The GPU crisis is a warning. Our digital world is only as strong as its weakest link. It's time to pay attention. The GPU export story is more than a tech headline. It's a human story. Decisions made in distant boardrooms ripple out, shaping daily lives and futures, especially for women holding systems together. We can't be passive spectators in the global tech economy. First, seek deeper understanding. Ask who benefits, who is harmed, and connect policy to real people. Next, advocate for resilience and equity. Support women's advancement and fairer systems. Build networks for solidarity and change. Recognize that the stress of a slow computer and the blocked career path are symptoms of the same fragile system. Demand that technology is designed for people, with fairness and resilience. The future isn't something that happens to us. It's something we build together. By understanding the true impact of tech crises, we can work toward a future where technology serves everyone, not just a powerful few.